And the harmful practice of female genital mutilation, that is FGM, early marriages and child sexual abuse still persists despite its ban in 2011. According to a report by the United Nations Population Fund, that is UNFPA, about 813,159 girls in Kenya were at risk of undergoing female genital mutilation between 2015 and 2030. 23% of Kenyan girls are married off before their 18th birthday and another 4% before the age of 15. Faith Imani tells us more on the intervention measures taken so far.
Having been born in one such a community that practices FGM, she narrates that it was purely by God's grace that her family was evacuated from the community's dark practices before it was too late.
I'm grateful to God to have started this journey, although it has been a difficult journey, a journey with so many lessons. And what really pushed me to begin such a program is my story, my background. The culture within my community was actually difficult as I grew up. At that time is when FGM was not really a problem, the government, the churches. And one day I remember when a man came into our home, my dad was there, and he grabbed me to get out the front teeth. And I screamed and I slipped away from him. Luckily, I grabbed my brother because we were only two. The significance of removing the front teeth, first of all, is to fulfill the culture. Dad had to relocate us from the village and we moved to town, where now, Narok town, where now we got education. I remember my younger siblings getting into boarding school when they were very young. I didn't go through boarding school in primary, but then they had to go through boarding because our home, the village, was not a good space for us, even if our parents were Christians.
She says she painfully watched her cousins and friends on every specific season of the year, going through the cut and thereafter forced into early marriages.
My aunties, my cousins went through the cut, and so it was a discussion that, okay, what about you? The school that I was in, what about you? Kwani haujapitia hiyo kitu? Sisi tunapitia this December. But my parents stood the ground that we cannot do this. There was rejection. There was, you know, they look at you like you've rejected the culture and you're not actually setting the pace.
We also met Mercy, not a real name, who says she was captured unaware in the wee hours of the night and taken through the cut in the dark, leaving her bleeding helplessly.
Time yenye alikuwa anipeane, hiyo ndiye alitangulia kuniambianga. Na time yenye najaribu kukataa, ananiambia huwezi kuwa mtu hadi huwezi heshimika kama hujatahiri. Sasa najaribu kukataa, but maneno ananiambia hadi inaniumiza kwa sababu siwezi pata mtu mwingine nishare naye. Ilikuwa usiku, ilikuwa Friday usiku. Jioni before tulale, nimesikia tu akisema jumu mama mwenye anatahiri wasichana hatuko mbali naye. Ukisimama hivi kwetu na mwangalia ndio ile kwake pale. Ilipofika saa 9 ya usiku, ili kabisa tunalala hadi mama jui. Ilifika saa 9 na astukia tu nikishikwa. Nikatokeshwa nje. Ili nilishout, nikauliza ni nini. Hakuna mwenye ananiongelesha. Time yenye nilijisikia kabisa kuona niko nje, nimemwona tu stepmother. hadi sikuwa nyumba yetu, ni nyumba stepmother. Niliitana, hakuna mwenye anaitika. Watoto wanalia juu sisters wangu waliamuka. Wao wanalia, "Mama, kuamuka hivi?" Nashikwa niko huko kwa stepmother. Hadi ameshangaa. Sasa hapo ndo nilitahiri. Hii kutahiri na hii yote yenye nimepitia, story yote yenye nilikuelezea, yani iliniingia kwangu kama nilizaliwa na nikakuwa nothing. Sikuwa kufanya anything kwa hii dunia juu ya hii yote yenye nafanyiwa. Kwa sababu nilikuwa nashinda nikijiuliza kama mimi nateswa, na nashangaa sijaona mtoto yote mwenye anateswa hivi. Hadi ilinifanya niseme tu nitajiua.
This torture, she says, could not have compared to the endless sexual abuse she received from her own father, a thing she says would often leave her desiring to commit suicide were it not for God's miraculous intervention.
Lakini kando na wabibi wawili pia alikuwa ananitaka mimi somehow. Sasa ikafika mahali natoroka kwa sababu nataka shule na ananinyima pia niende shule. Time yenye naambiwa nisiende shule juu ataamuka usiku ndiye make sure nisiende shule. Hakuwa hapo anaangalia gate ndio nisipite gate na kuponyoka kwenda shule.
Penina, on the other hand, of course not her real name, was rescued just before she went through the cut. This was even after she was sexually abused and the clan was planning to marry her off an old man.
Walikuwa napanga wanifanyie. So Mami Evelyn walikuwa najuana na pastor wa church yenye nilikuwa. Kamuuliza hivi kuna antaizani support hapo. Sasa akasema yes. Sasa akanisponsor akanileta from home huku. Akanipeleka shule boarding. Waliona nimewekwa shule sasa inaendelea vizuri. Sasa pia mimi niliwaambia sitaki kupitishwa FGM. Nikaongea nao. Kaambia mimi nataka kusoma. Na pia waliona pia nimepata sponsorship wenye wananiendeleza mbele nisome kwa masomo. Wakakubali wakasema sawa. Vile wanatayarisha wasichana asubuhi, they prepare, they wanatafuta mwenye anatayarisha wasichana, and then asubuhi yake wanachukua maji wanaweka juu ya nyumba. Usiku wanaweka maji sufuria inalala usiku yote. Alafu sasa 5 kiamuka unaamuka unamwagiliwa alafu unatayarishwa.
These cases are sadly quite rampant in Kajiado and other arid and semi-arid areas. We visited Kajiado West Children's Department. The officer in charge, Cosmas Carrera, admits that it has been a hard task to root out these cultural practices. He, however, says there has been a lot of intervention measures by the county government.
And most of the time we find ourselves forced to intervene, either to change the community and also to assist the girls. In many instances, we intervene in various ways, whereby most of the time, because of the probability of it happening, and because of the culture being embedded so much in their life, we try to sensitize them, the disadvantages, and even the law, what the law states. And most of the time, they adhere to it. And with time, we have seen the reduction of these cases. Currently, it has come so much down because of the sensitization we have done, not only as the children department, but with other stakeholders and partners. We have so many stakeholders, partners, who play various roles, some in advocacy, others in sheltering these children, others in rescuing, and even others in providing some basic amenities to the families so that they can stop this kind of culture and practices.
Up north in Marsabit County, Nahole, also not her real name, narrates how her father shamelessly took advantage of her since her tender age.
In fact, at the first time, I had nobody to share with it. Even my mother will not accept, my shosh, my auntie, my uncles, they will not accept it. So I just stayed then till nikafika class 5. Vile nimefika hapo, now I had my uncle now akakuja akaongea na Light of Life, then nika rescue. I have been rescued now, and I thank God so much, because in fact the time that I came to Light of Life organization, I was not feeling well at my private part, because when I go to the latrine I just feel itchy, nasikia kujikuna. So yes, and vile nimekuja hapa nikamwelezea Mam Eva, akanipeleka kwa Nairobi Women Hospital, nikalazwa huko for I think 3 days, and vile nimelazwa, I thank God, because from that time, in fact, I was not performing well. I was just getting 100 marks. Now, vile nimekuja hapa nikapelekwa OC, then nikakuwa sawa sana, then nikaenda shule, which is boarding school. In fact, vile nilikuwa nyumbani nilikuwa tu ina day school. Yeah, lakini sahi nilikuwa nimeletwa huku nikaingia boarding school, nikaanza class 4. Nikaendelea na nikawa na marks mzuri, na namshukuru Mungu sana. My mom is just, mamangu alikuwa, but hakuwa available every time hakuwa nyumbani. So, and kwetu ni kama tu imefenziwa hivi, but nyumba ya shoshi iko pale, ya mama iko pale. Sasa, yani ni shosho yangu peke yake ndio kwa hapo. Nikimpelekea dad food, taking advantage of me.
Eve believed that there is something she can do to change the situation of vulnerable girls. In her own home at Kiserian, she has put up an education sponsorship program and rescue home to shelter girls at risk of FGM and sexual abuse. The program has seen over 100 girls successfully complete their education, and most of them have successfully been reintegrated in the communities they come from.
This files shows you the outer program, the program that supports education. We can call it sponsorship program. And it is the older program, because the rescue program that we have also right now started 6 years ago. Now, it started when out of this program, actually, those girls that you support, but during the long holidays in December, something happens at home, where now they want to marry them, get them out of school, give them away, cut them. And these girls were already empowered, because when we support them, we work with them. I always tell people, when you decide to support a child, work with them. And working means try to know beyond education. This child has gotten education, yes. But what about her social life? What about her spiritual life? How is this child able to cope with other challenges that are not education?
The Kajiado County Children's Department officers also hailed such rescue centers and organizations, saying they have been of great help in the bid to curb the evil cultural practices, and are calling on the stakeholders to continue partnering for better results.
Child protection is not the responsibility of the government, neither is it a responsibility of even the child or even the parents. It's a responsibility of all of us. And it's a mandate given by God for each one of us to at least protect these children. And you cannot be paid. Nobody can pay you for protecting a child, for making a child happy. It's only God who can be able to reward you. And whatever you do, if it's the best interest of God, of the child, God will always be on your side to protect you and also to bless you. So I insist to the community members, do everything possible to ensure that the child is happy.
The harmful practices of FGM, early marriages, and sexual abuse still persist despite being banned in 2011. According to UNFPA report, about 813,159 girls in Kenya were at risk of undergoing female genital mutilation between 2015 and 2030, and 23% of Kenyan girls are married before their 18th birthday, and 4% are married before the age of 15. This is a clear indication that a lot needs to be done in efforts to end the vices. Faith Imani Mugo for Hope TV Newswatch.